Snorkels and I wanted to come down for his first official visit as Snorkels and introduce you to Nancy Baldwin, who is at our Family and Community Resource Center in Kelso. And I'll let Bill read a quote that was great by a student there, how valuable and appreciated Nancy is. But I have to admit, my own 3 daughters went through the school system here. And when I said, guess what, Nancy, they all go, oh, I know her. She's like the best. And so they were all very happy to hear. And I just came down here a few minutes ago and watching Nancy in action, helping with our community members. If people have been coming in and out, she's the real deal. And it's a real honor to have her recognized as Classified Employee of the Year. So anyway, I'm glad that you guys get to meet her now. And I'll let her and Snorkels talk with you, and I'll just sit here and listen.
Okay. Do you want me to read the quote, Patty?
Yes, I would, because it's a good
Okay,
one.
let me read that real quick, and then we'll turn it over to you, Nancy, okay?
Okay.
It's a quote from one of Nancy's students, Brianna. Mrs. Baldwin took me back to her office and told me we weren't leaving for the day until she had a place for me to stay. When I say Mrs. Baldwin saved my life, I really mean it. For the rest of my life, I know I have her. I'm so grateful to have met her. I know without her, I would not be graduating. I would be homeless and even worse, unquote. So shows the value of this person's work. Congratulations. And we are honored to have you with us. So please, if you have some opening comments or statements, take it away, Nancy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. I wasn't expecting that. I love that girl. I just visited her. She graduated that last year, and I just visited her up in Shoreline. She's in a group home in Shoreline right now, and she's working 2 jobs and filed her taxes last year for the very first time. So super proud of her. Well, I wanted to brag a little bit about my, I'm so emotional right now. I love her. About my 16 seniors from the year after Brianna. And I have some notes just because I don't want to miss any of the data that I need to share with you, but I would say that my why is McKinney-Vento, but my focus always is on my unaccompanied minors, and unaccompanied means they are living without a parent or a guardian. Last year, I had 16 seniors. Each of these seniors not only left with a diploma, but we were able to get them the common documents that most students don't have to worry about, like a state ID or a driver's license or a social security card or a birth certificate. And these things you need when, post high school. They can be real challenging, but each one of our 16 students left with that in hand. These seniors came most every day. They were sometimes late, but they came to school. Some of them faced unimaginable hardships before they got to school, but they came. Sometimes they were unprepared. Their Chromebooks weren't charged. They didn't have Wi-Fi, but they came. And each one of those 16 earned the right to stand shoulder to shoulder and walk across the graduating stage with their class. On this day, they were just one of 327. There's a time when you want to be unique and stand out, but in high school, you really just want to fit in. Being McKinney-Vento or unaccompanied, you don't want that light shining down on you. I will say that that I became a constant interruption in their life, and it didn't always make them happy, but they trusted me. And so when I would see them going the wrong way, I would step in and redirect them. Trust in their world is very rare, and I don't take that lightly. They found their voice, their purpose, and believe me, by the time they left, they spoke their mind. They're all moving in different directions, and I want to share just some of their directions. I have one that joined the Army. He's through boot camp, and he is serving in Georgia right now, and I believe he will serve with distinction. Several have started LCC for their prereqs. One is running cross country and track at Clark. 3 are at WSU, and 1 is in California at Humboldt. And the rest have followed their CTE dream, and they're in trade school. I still hear back from them. They still pop in, and they're doing amazing. And what I really want to share today is a boss that I had a long time ago told me that, you know, you have to get ahead, you have to work smarter, not harder. And so as I'm looking now at my data, I have already 41.
You're still there right now. Just click on the Zoom thing.
I'm sorry. I have 41 of those seniors that I need to worry about. And so as I'm struggling to get through there, most of my days now are spent, you know, putting out fires and managing crises and helping this tender population navigate high school without a parent or a guardian. I can remove the barriers and I can get them to graduation. But moving forward, I need to reduce that number. And so we have started in Kelso a whole family, whole youth approach, where if we can keep the family intact, maybe it's helping with housing, maybe it's getting them back into the workforce, maybe it's helping with mental health or drug substance abuse. This is going to reduce that number going forward if I can keep those families intact. We don't use the word homeless in Kelso. Homeless is a negative connotation. It's a negative feeling. Homeless isn't who they are, it's where they happen to be just for this period of time. And as I have showed you, my 16 from last year have all moved on, resilient, strong. They're have all triumphed over adversity, and they are all going to make Washington State, Kelso High, Kelso School District extremely proud. I thank you for inviting me to share with them. I don't think enough people in their lives celebrate them. And so I have shared with each one of them that I would be sharing their story today. And they all told me to tell you, thank you very much for caring enough to hear their story. And so we are all grateful for this opportunity. I appreciate this so much.
Great, thank you, Nancy, for your being here. Please don't try to excuse your emotion. We need emotion in our schools. I think we all understand that as professionals. If you're not giving your heart every day, how do you ever get through to the kids that you're really trying to reach? And you're a reflection of that. So please don't try to excuse your emotion. It's a good thing to have in education. And I just want to say congratulations to you and the work that you do. You know, it's clear that you're not in it for the money. You're in it because you're passionate, and we need more of you. And I think that's why you are so deserving of this award. And you know, it's the work that you're doing is near and dear to my heart. It's a similar student body that I like to try to represent as well on the board, being Native American, a lot of underprivileged kids, a lot of kids in the foster care system, and ICW, and a lot of houseless students as well, couch surfing, those kinds of things. You're familiar with all of that. So the work that you're doing is near and dear to me personally. So thank you for that. At this point, we want to go ahead and open it up to the floor for any comments or offers of congratulations from anybody else at this time. It was just sort of a popcorn thing, so no official order. So folks, if you feel free to you know, chime in with any comments. Paul, looks like you have a hand. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Nancy, I just want to say congratulations, and just happy to hear that there's 3 Cougs in your group there. And so I work at WSU, and I know that sometimes there can be some challenges along the way, especially if you don't have the parental guidance. And so if there are any needs in that way, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be sure to make sure that those students are in contact with the right people.
Oh, thank you very much.
Definitely.
Great. Yep. Go ahead. There is no real order. So yep, go ahead whenever.
Congratulations and thank you, Nancy, so much. I 16 last year, 41 this year. Do you have, I'm just curious what kinds of additional supports that you have, because you're clearly, when you're doing a whole child approach, this is involving others. And so I'm just curious how you're approaching that, and also whether you're seeing this in your immediate area, increases like this after the last couple of years that people have been living through.
Well, I will say I don't think that the numbers have necessarily grown. I think that they've been there the whole time. I think that we are far more skilled now. I believe for the last couple of years during COVID, I was still here and meeting with families, although it be at a distance. And I feel like the relationships that we're building and the trust, that they're now coming forward. My joy is that I'm getting calls constantly from coaches and admin and teachers that are getting like exit slips, or a coach that drops the kids off after a ball game and everybody gets picked up and they notice a kid walking around. And so I have students actually bringing them to me, or high schoolers telling me, I have 4 siblings that are just like me. And so I just feel like we're finding them better, and they're coming forward. I think they've been there all along. And Mary, I will tell you with 100% honesty, there are more than that out there. It is not, that is not the end of the number. There are far more than that out there. And I will find them, and they will come to me, and we will get them taken care of. And our whole family, whole approach is I now have a mental health therapist on the other side of my portable. I've got the amazing Dawn Iverson sitting up here with me. And we are able to do those things that I mentioned, to get them into mental health, to get them into core health. I have a relationship with all of the transitional housing and shelters, and we work very closely with places like Family Promise. And so, is it going to be too big of a job? I hope not. I mean, I think we're going to do it. We've got already, out of those 41, I'm looking at my data board, 60% as of today are on track to graduate. And so it's a big job, but we'll do that too.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Nancy, this is Jan Brown, and just am so inspired, like you do, by what you're saying. Just yesterday, I met with a friend who's a retired school counselor in the Olympia School District, and we were talking about how ill-equipped we were, especially when we first entered education. So anyway, gosh, you caught me. But I'm just so grateful for you, and I'm grateful for the resources, the networking, and the information that are like the students that Paul is working with, Bill's heart for our Native American kids. And I have a friend up in ESD up in the north that works a lot with the tribes. And I just love how you're an example of how to do this positively. We can do it. It's happening, and you keep a data board. You just answered to our conversation yesterday. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nancy, this is MJ Bolt over here in Spokane Valley, Washington, and congratulations
Thank you.
On this award, and also just for elevating and promoting, what you do, and also, the challenges that these kids are going through. I got the opportunity to work with our McKinney-Vento liaison here for quite a few years. Leslie Camden Gould. I don't know if you know Leslie, but it is absolutely amazing work. And, she was great in reaching out with partners in the community, just as I hear you are, Family Promise and others. And we even started a fund through our PTA just to help, facilitate and fund some of the needs that these kids had, and to help with whatever kind of resources we have. So I know it's amazing work. It's heartfelt work. It's not something for the slight at heart because of all the challenges you deal with. So, but these kids are so deserving, and you're providing so much opportunity to them that they wouldn't otherwise have. So again, on behalf of, everybody, just thank you so much for what you're doing, and thank you for your compassion and your passion to, you know, seeing it through and helping these kids overcome the challenges that they present.
Thank you. I will share one more story about a family and some of the community outreach. I have our police chief who comes up here a couple of times a week, and my school board president, Jeannie Conrad, visits me quite often. And I had a mom, she has two high schoolers, and she was up here one day and she had gotten an interview for a local, she's a CNA for a local group home, and had no idea how to do a Zoom interview, didn't have Wi-Fi. So we set her up here, and Jeannie ran home and got business attire for her, and we interviewed for the job. And a week and a half later, she got the job. And this was at the end of last year. And she came to me at the beginning. Oh, then, you know, a month into that, I've got my police chief here, and she comes in and she's going, oh my gosh, I need scrubs, and I don't know where I'm going to get scrubs. And I just, you know, we'll figure it out. Don't worry, you know, go do work and I'll have them by the end of the day. I promise you. And my police chief left, and he texted me and he said, go to Walmart, pick them up. And so he did a quick list. And so I ran over and picked them up, and she's worked all summer, and she came in at the beginning of this year, and she just came through the door with her hair on fire and just almost burst into tears. And she said, I just got this letter from DSHS where they've cut me off of food stamps. I no longer get food stamps. And my first response was, that's okay, we've got you, we'll take care of it. And she says, you don't understand. I've never been without food stamps. My kids now, my little ones, won't know what an EBT card is. She said, my whole life, I would go to the market with my parents, and they had coupons then, and they would lay them all out and stamp them all, and it was so embarrassing. And she said, my kids now will never know that. That was she had made it. And so I called Jeannie and the police chief, and they were so excited. And, you know, most people will think, you know, everybody wants to keep that food stamp benefit, but when you're the only one in your family that has not had that, and now your personal family, your kids will never have to know that, she couldn't have been more delighted. And I could not have done that without my school board president, my police chief, and my community here that got her the job and got that taken care of for her. And her kids are no longer on my program. So that's two kids that would have been McKinney-Vento that now are not. So that's just one example, but it takes a village, and Kelso is my village. And I'm so glad for that.